Yeah. Good afternoon. We are now on the fifth lecture, and so far that we have seen in our course, maybe the course overview on the first day, and then we have understood what do you mean by resolution and composition of force. So that has helped us to go in for finding out the resultant of system of forces. And we looked at three different classification of system of forces in a planar system of forces. One is concurrent system of force, parallel system of force, and general system of forces. So we are able to replace them by its single force called a resultant. Do you have any doubt in this process so far what you have carried out? If not, now today I'm going to again look at the definition of moment of a force about a point and about a line. So we will look at it, and we are going to look at it also vectorially, the definition, and we will get into a space force system solving a problem. And maybe another one or two classes we will finish the resultant of system of forces for space force system as well, and then we will solve problems of static equilibrium, and that would constitute the required basic concept of statics through those solving problems. So that is what is in brief, maybe for another four lectures that we are going to do. With that note, so let me start today's class by sharing my ActInspire board. I had this problem already, but however, let's have a new board and to go with the class. So this is lecture number 5. Today 10 to 2021. We're going to look at definition of moment of a force, and we will understand the difference between moment of a force and couple moment. That's what is the first part of today's lecture. So when I say moment of a force about a point, we are looking at a force and the moment center in the same planar system of forces. So it has never been about a point, it is about an axis, because the moment of a force will have a tendency in a rigid body to have a rotation. So rotation is about an axis. So when I say it is about a point, it is planar system of force that we are looking at it. Right? So let's look at this example problem. So I have a square plate, rectangular plate of this dimension. So let's say this is point A, point B, point C, D, the dimension 80 centimeter by 40 centimeter. So my coordinate system, if I fix this is my origin 0, 0. I know these coordinates are this is going to be 0.8 meters, 0. This is going to be 0.8, 0.4 meters. Right? So now this plate, you see, point A is hinged. So you know what do you mean by support hinge? It's like a door hinge. So this plate can be partially constrained now. It cannot translate. Point A cannot come out of this. Whereas the plate can rotate about this point A. That's the meaning. So the rotation of that would happen when I apply a force acting on this plate. So for a time being, we'll not worry about weight of this plate. Instead, let's look at an external force has got more influence, right? I'm not going to account here weight of this for a moment. So let me see that I have a force pushing this point B, which is of 100 Newton force, right? So what is the effect that you look at in this plate? Is the plate going to be under rest condition, or what would happen? Anyone? Any answer? Yeah, so the plate would be expected to rotate
Sir,
about.
can you repeat what you just said?
Why you are not able to hear me?
No, sir, I got cut off in the middle. That's why.
Yeah, see, if you are not interacting, I will presume and complete my lecture. But you are supposed to understand, because this is that no, every teacher feels like that. When we ask question, no, there are 40 students, everybody keeping quiet. No, we can't make out. See, and when I share a screen, I can't see how many are there in that. No, or to even I cannot look at the name parallelly, because the screen doesn't allow me to look at the students to see. So these are some difficulty. So when I ask, you are not responding, I will presume you follow me, and then I will complete the lecture. And if you do not answer, you do not perform well, I will make you to listen back again my lecture. That's what is that my plan. Anyhow, you asked now, I'll repeat it again. So it is very clear to follow what is that I was telling and understand this diagram, what is drawn on this board. A plate ABCD of dimension 80 by 40 centimeter is constrained at point A by a hinge. It is not fixed, it is constrained as a hinge. So now the application of 100 Newton force at point B pushing this. So what is that I was asking is what would happen to the plate? Is it going to be staying there, or what is the effect that you are expecting? That's what is the question I asked.
It will move, sir.
Huh?
It will rotate, sir. Change its position.
How, what is the change that you are saying? How do you expect? Change its
Sir, it will
position
move
means
about its
is a
hinge.
plate to go to
It
the
will move
corner of
about
the
its
board?
hinge.
It will?
It will
It will
rotate.
move about its hinge.
Yeah, it will rotate about the hinge point A, right? It cannot translate. So there are two effects that force can cause. One is translation, another one is rotation, right? If I have the same plate inside a groove, and no, if I push it, and then it will translate on a guide groove. But what has happened here? It is partially constrained. At point A, it is hinged. So this 100 Newton force would make this to rotate. So the effect on this plate is rotation. What causes the rotation is the moment of this force 100 Newton about this hinge point. So I call this point A as hinge point or moment center. This is moment center point A. And the perpendicular distance, that is given by AB length, which is 0.8 meter, is what is called moment arm. So with that, in the last class also we have seen the turning moment, which is responsible for rotation, is given by its moment about point A, and that's by scalar definition. There's a problem with this software. Yeah, just look at me. Right, the definition here is about A. When I find the moment, I'd get 100 into 0.8 meter, which is 80 Newton meter counterclockwise moment that I get. So this is what is responsible. This is scalar definition. So scalar definition. What is the scalar definition? Force into perpendicular distance, or force into moment arm, is what is going to be turning moment acting at this point A, so that the plate will be rotating. Okay, we know that effect. So what is that rotational angular acceleration? All as to its dynamics problem. Now we will not go into there. So we are just restricting our understanding only to understand what is the definition of moment of a force about a point. So this point here is representing an axis perpendicular to the plate coming out of this board. That's why it is about an axis also, you can say, right? Yeah. So now the same can be expressed through vectorial definition. So what is vectorial definition? Moment will be given by R cross F. This is vectorial definition. So moment is also a vector, and that's called a sliding vector, like force vector, and it is given by R cross F, where this R is called the position vector, and you have this cross product. So you know when you have two vectors cross product, the vector obtained moment vector will be perpendicular to the plane of force and the other vector position vector. So it will be perpendicular to the plate at point A. So now what is the position vector correspondingly here? So I can have a position vector from the moment center, that is this. So take the same side. So this is position vector RAB. I can also have a position vector from this to this. This diagonal also a position vector. I can also have, if I have a point here D or E, point E, a position vector here. So like I have n number of position vectors. So position vectors are now giving position of line of action of the force. So line of action of the force is what? Though this point, this 100 Newton force is pushing this point B, its line of action is I extend a line through this vector. So this is what is its line of action. So this plate is one single rigid body. This force, 100 Newton force, is in this line of action at point B, pushing this point B. I can slide this 100 Newton force along this line anywhere. That is what is one of the fundamental principle called principle of transmissibility. Principle of transmissibility of forces, of force. So what I mean by that, I can either push this point B or I can pull this point C by this force. That effect is the same. So I can slide this 100 Newton force along the line anywhere if this is acting on a single rigid body. You know what is the definition of rigid body? A rigid body is the one which will not deform at all. That's a basic assumption of this course. In reality, bodies are deformable. Strength of material that you are going to study next. So you are going to have at least a few mm deformation in rigid bodies in reality. But we make in rigid body mechanics, the rigid body will not undergo any deformation. What I mean by that, relative position of B with respect to A, or position of C with respect to B, or position of D with respect to any other point, or center point of the plate with respect to any point that is marked on the plate, its relative position with respect to other point will not change under the action of force. That is what is the definition of rigid body. And this principle of transmissibility of force says that this force can be sliding along the line. So we call this force vector as a sliding vector, right? So now, what is that important requirement? What is the advantage of this is that I can have my position vector, any one out of these many position vectors. I have an infinite number of position vectors now available to represent the line of action of this force with respect to moment center. Out of that, I have just drawn 3. So I can choose any one of the position vector over here and the force vector here, and that would solve for my moment vector. So for that, what should I do? I should look at my configuration with respect to a coordinate system. So this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. My z-axis, which is the right-hand coordinate system, coming out of the board perpendicular to this. It is in this direction. So now I know how do I represent a line in space by its unit vector. So you know that unit vector I is what is representing x-axis. Unit vector j is what is representing y-axis. Similarly for z-axis, unit vector k. So this I, j, k are the unit vectors. What do you mean by unit vector? The modulus of these vectors are equal to 1. That's what is unit vector. So if I have that, I can represent now the position vector, force vector, and hence I can find out what is my moment vector. So I'm going to get the same with this fashion. So using this definition, so moment vector will be RAB vector cross F vector, or I can also get the same by RAC cross F vector. I can also get RAE cross F vector, anything will do. So this cross product is simply a determinant of I, J, K happens to be on a first row, and second row is RAB. So what is RAB? ROB minus ROA. So here A point is 0, 0 itself. So it is B is 0.8 and 0. So it is 0.800. And what is F vector? F vector is parallel to y-axis. So it is 100 J vector. So I would represent that here 100, 0. So the determinant value is what is my moment vector. So I would be able to calculate this simply I into 0 minus 0 minus j into 0 minus 0 plus k into 80 minus 0. I get 80k is what is my moment vector. So k is the unit vector perpendicular to the plate. So I have this is the cross product result. So magnitude is 80 and vector form is 80k. So this is simple case is because it's a planar system of force. If you understand this, this should help you to go in for understanding for space force system, right? That is the reason why I had given this problem. So now let us look at what is a couple moment. Let me take the same example once again, the plate, what we consider of 80 by 40 centimeter. With this point hinged. I'm going to apply now a force which is going to be one same 100 Newton force. I'm also going to apply a 100 Newton force here. So what is the difference now from the previous case? Can anyone say? What is the difference between this problem configuration with the forces and this problem configuration with the force? So here I have the plate acted upon by one single force at point B. But now you look at, I have the same plate A, B, C, D, but acted upon by two forces, 100 Newton along this line of action, another 100 Newton along this. So now what is the main difference that you see from the previous case and this?
Sir, the axis of rotation will change.
Rotation, you see, this is what is called a couple, like last class we have looked at. So this is upward and this is downward. So if I put 4 fingers along one of the force and curve with respect to the other, it shows that again counterclockwise moment. So if I take moment about this point A now, so what would be my result? It is R cross F. Whatever we did now, you get same 80k. Right? Because this force will not participate in the moment equation. It is 100. So it is I, J, K, and this coordinate is 0.8, 0.40, and the force is 100. So if I work out this determinant, I get 80k. Same answer that I get. The moment of the magnitude of a couple moment is same 80 Newton meter K. So it will have the same effect of this rotation. But what is the difference that you see from the previous case?
Sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a doubt. So like in moment equals to R into F, shouldn't R bar be the displacement, sir?
No, R bar is it's a R vector. R vector is called a position vector. Position of point C with respect to point A. If point A is 0, 0, the position vector here is a vector RAC. So RAC vector is this coordinate 0.8 comma 0.4. What do I have? So 0.8 minus 0i plus 0.4 minus 0i. That's what is 0 say. That's what I have written here. So it is not distance or something. This is position vector cross force vector. So these two vector cross product would give me a vector which is perpendicular to the plane containing both of them. That's the basic definition. So what is the doubt now?
No, nothing, sir. I got it.
Yeah, my question is a very important question. What is the difference that you see from here and the previous problem that we have solved? This problem we have solved. So here I had only one force given in this. This also will make this plate to rotate about point A with the turning moment value 80 Newton meter. So what is that you would see here is also the same turning moment magnitude make the
So
plate to
the
rotate.
force acting on the point will not participate in the moment, sir.
Yeah, that is correct. That is why you have the same turning moment in both the case. But what is the important difference between both of them? What is the resultant of both the system? So first system is this, right? The first system is this. I have this. I had a force here, 100 Newton. And this is a hinge. This is the first system. So we have looked at yesterday an important concept called equivalent, right? Force couple system. You should remember that. So equivalent force couple system, if you remember, I would shift this force 100 Newton to this point and cancel this force again, so that it is same. But you look at now this and this forms a couple which is same as this, and you have additionally this force. So this is same as having 100 Newton force here, additionally having a couple moment of 80 Newton meter at this hinge point. So this hinge point cannot resist the moment, so the plate rotates, whereas hinge will resist this 100 Newton force, so there will be reaction at the hinge. Whereas this is case 1 problem. Whereas case 2 problem that we are looking at now currently, you have these two forces. So the resultant will be sum of the force. So this and this cancel. So here resultant of force 0, whereas you have couple moment about point A, that's 80 Newton meter K. So this is present. So here there is no pressure in the hinge. There is no reaction at the hinge. Like you have this force and then the free body diagram if I draw, I will have here a reaction. So this is not under pressure. So that's exactly what we look at when you learn to your vehicle driving. You are expected to have your steering to be held by both hands, and you should pull one side and push other side. So when you do like this steering, you will not have your steering column under pressure. Supposing you are applying one side force, what would happen? It would make your steering wheel to rotate, but whatever you are pulling, that's equivalent force will be acting on a steering column, and it will have a pressure on the support bearing of the steering column. That's the basic difference between both of these two cases, right? So you have to see that if this is very delicate joint, there will be a pressure, right? So what is happening in our door when we are opening? So I have a door, I push it, I apply a force tangentially, so that makes the door to rotate, but that is same as this case 1. So the force whatever is applied is been felt by the hinge, and hinge will resist. So hinge has to be strong enough that it won't fail. So that always this couple which is not prevented constraint, so that will make the door to open. So this is what is the effect in this. So whatever that you are following here, So when I say a coupled system is acting on a rigid body, there is no reactive forces. When I say a force system acting on a rigid body, you can have resultant as well as reaction at the hinge. So here resultant is 0, whereas the resultant here is 100 Newton force up. Is that clear? Because when I add these forces here, this cancels, but this 100 Newton is there. So resultant force in the case 1 is 100 Newton, whereas the resultant force in case 2 is 0, but both are having the turning moment, and this is what is the first difference between couple moment and moment of a force. So if you have understood that clearly, and this couple is called the free vector. It's called a free vector. Whereas this is not a free vector. So in this case, the moment of a force, whatever that you have got, is not a free vector. Here, whatever you estimated is not a free vector. It is sliding vector. So where is it sliding? It is sliding along the axis perpendicular to this plate, that is this y-axis. So I can have my moment applied like this by screwdriver. So I can have a longer screwdriver or shorter screwdriver, but however, I would have my moment vector sliding along the axis. That's a sliding vector. Like a force vector sliding in this line, moment vector can slide along its axis. Whereas couple is a free vector, right? So why it is a free vector? What is the other major difference that you would always understand? If I take case 1 and if I take moment of this, I take a moment of this 100 Newton force at this point, say point F, let us say this is point P. This is point P. So about this point P, what is my moment? So from here, whatever is the moment arm that I know, that is 40 centimeter. So it is going to be 40 Newton meter, right? Whereas if I take the same point here, P, and if I ask you to find out what is the moment about this point, I would have the value here, this 100 into 0.4, because this distance is 0.4. And this force also is there, so this 100 into 0.4, both are of counterclockwise sense, so I will have 100 into 0.4. So what is that I get again? 80 Newton meter counterclockwise. So this free vector, whatever the point I take on the rigid body, I find the moment of these two forces, I get the same value of couple moment. So that's why it's called free vector. Whereas if I have only one force and the resultant is not 0, it's not a coupled system. So the moment turning magnitude depends upon the point about which I take the moment. Yeah, your doubt.
No, sir. In like while you were explaining, the screen actually froze, sir. We couldn't see at what point you were actually directing us.
It's not showing, sir.
Now it is like just when I called, it was fine. Before that, we couldn't understand where you were pointing.
Yeah. Okay. So let me repeat it again. The point P I marked at the midspan of AB. That's clear. This point P,
Yes,
which
sir.
I have now, the cursor is there on the case 1, midpoint of
Yes,
AB, right? I'm taking the same point in this case 2 as well. So the difference between case 1 and case 2 is case 1 is force system. I have only one force acting at this point B. Case 2 is I have two forces and that forms a couple because of same magnitude, parallel, opposite sense force. So this example that I have taken to explain you that the difference. So if I take moment of this force about the point P, so that is going to be 100 into this moment arm, that's 40 Newton meter, and clockwise, counterclockwise moment I get. Whereas I take case 2, the same point in the plate, and if I take the moment of the given two forces, I would get again 80 Newton meter. So if I take any other point, if I take another point Q here and I take moment, I get 80 Newton meter. Whereas here the value will change. So that is another important difference, and that's where you call this as a couple, as a free vector. It is there, it can be represented anywhere in the configuration. The effect is the same. Whereas you cannot have your force, same 100 Newton force, you cannot just put it somewhere else and it is equivalent. So this 100 Newton force, when I bring it to this point, it is an equivalent force couple system that it becomes. So you should differentiate between couple system and equivalent force couple system. That's what is that reason I have chosen this example problem. Is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if that is so, let's march ahead with an additional problem. Right, I have some correction here. So you need to understand what do you mean by equivalent or equivalent system, right? You also need to know what is called an equilibrium, right? What is called an equilibrium? Equilibrium. So what is equilibrium? It is opposite to that of resultant. So whatever so far we have found the resultant, you change the direction in the same line, and that is what is equilibrium. So we have solved in the last class 3 problems. If you reverse the direction of the arrowhead, and that's what is called an equilibrium. So equilibrium is resultant of reactions, which we are not at gone detail because we are not gone into what is static equilibrium or free body diagram and so on to draw. That is next step after we finish our resultant. So you just understand a term called equilibrium, which is equal to minus R, opposite to resultant in the same line, right? Or you can say that is what is emphasizing Newton's third law. So for every action, there is an opposite reaction. When you say, you find the resultant of system of forces, and whatever the direction of resultant that you have got, in the same line, if we are representing an opposite direction, and that is what is called an equilibrium, right? Yeah. So with that, let me go ahead with solving some additional example problem to understand what is called an equivalent or equivalent system. Equivalent or equivalent system. So what I mean by that, I have a rigid body acted upon by one system of forces. I can have the same rigid body replaced by another system of forces. The effect is not going to change. The resultant of both the cases are going to be same. So that's what is equivalent or equivalent system. So for that, let us take this example problem. What is that is, I have here a beam which is typically represented like this. One end is a hinge, other end is a roller. This is called a simply supported beam. We will look at it in detail later on. So now this horizontal member, beam is a horizontal member, is subjected to 4 forces. So at this point I have 15 Newton force, 15 kilonewton force, and I have at point B 40 kilonewton force acting down, 40 kilonewton force. At point C I have 30 kilonewton force, and at point D there is 20 kilonewton force acting down. And this beam is of span 9 meters, sorry, 2.5 meters, 2.5 meters. So this distance is 0.5. From here to here it's 1 meter, and here it is further 1 meter. So now I need to find out the same system acted upon by 2 forces, 2 loads only. I have to replace these 4 loads by 2 loads. Same beam, but I have to replace that by 2 forces at a point. Let me name this A, B, C, D. So I have here point A, and this is B, this is C, So if I consider the two forces are of same direction, I do not know the direction. Let me consider this is FB and this is FD. So this is not a coupled system. See, the two forces parallel like that. I do not know if this is a coupled system and so on. When solving only I will know. But I require to replace these two by two forces. So both are equal. So when I say this system and this system is same, and that is what is called an equivalent or equivalent system.
Sir, your movement
Is that
is
clear? Huh?
your
Yeah.
cursor.
Cursor?
Yes, screen froze again, sir.
Yeah, see, there's a problem with our network, I think so. But I do not see that problem when I teach here. Let us hopefully here signal is fine, then it will be recorded properly. You can later on also see, right? So now this equivalent, that's why I'm also going slowly speaking along with my writing. So this equivalent or equivalent system is an example I had given here. So replace this given four forces by two force system, FB and FD acting at B and D, right? So how do you solve? So when I say this condition is the resultant of system 1 is same as resultant of system 2, that's a condition. So resultant here is what? Sigma Fy of case 1 is what is sigma Fy of case 2. Not only that, the resultant moment here is same as that of resultant moment here also. So if I take moment at point A here, sigma MA, but instead of the A, I will take point B. So sigma MB of system 1 should be same as sigma MB of system 2. So when I say these equations are same, so here it's parallel force system. If it is instead it is a general force system given, I can also have an additional equation along with that. What is that? And another case, sigma Fx of system 1, that's equal to sigma Fx of system 2. But this equation is not required in this case, as the system given is parallel force system. So these two equations, these two conditions will solve my two unknowns. So when I use first condition, I would have an equation having these two unknowns. When I use this condition, I would be able to solve for FD. So let me solve now for FD. So taking moment on both the side of the system, right? What is that I'll have here? So now when I take moment about point B, I have here, see, 50 Newton force, and this is moment arm. This is my moment center. So this would create this momentum in to rotate in clockwise. So it is minus 15 into 0.5 and 30 Newton, and this momentum, this is the end and this is its force. So you get your counterclockwise moment, that is 30 into 1 minus here, because this is down force and momentum is BD, and the momentum would be expected to rotate virtually by this in clockwise. So 20 into 2, that would be equal to here. So this is again the same configuration. So this distance is 2 meters. So I would have here FD is upward, so that would create counterclockwise moment. So plus FD into 2. So solving this, I get FD. So what is this? You get here 15 into 0.5, that's minus plus 30 minus 40. So I get minus 17.5 on this side, and I get here FD into 2. So I get FD equals minus 17.5 divided by 2. I get minus 8.75 kilonewton. So that's going to be 8.75 kilonewton down force. So in the diagram I have considered that FD acting up, but actually for a system to be an equivalent system or equivalent system, In this case, FD to act down. Now, what is the second one? I can use this formula. So that says summation of these forces resultant will be equal for both sides. So I have here minus 15, sorry, plus 15, minus 40, plus 30, minus 20. Right? So I have here plus 15, minus 30, plus 20, minus 40. Right? You understand plus minus sign? Plus 15 upward force, minus 40 downward, plus 30 upward, minus 20 down. Sorry, plus 40 and minus 20. Right? 15, 40. This is 40. Next to forces 30 plus 30 minus 20. So what is that I get? On the other side, I have, say, though I have solved this, I should look at it here, whatever that I have. Both are upward. So let me put it FB plus FD. But FD I calculated as minus 8 point. This, so FB minus 8.75 on this side. And here I have, this is 40 and this is minus 20. So minus 60 plus 45 minus 15. So I would get my FB minus 15 plus 8.75. So it is minus 6.25 kilonewton. So whatever that I have, that is to be reversed, 8.25 down. So when I have this loading system here, and I have to replace this by two forces, I get here, this is replaced by, now the direction to be reversed, otherwise I should write it as by minus sign. Now this is 8.75. So this is my answer. And this is what is an equivalent system. So you can expect a problem, not necessarily for a parallel force system. You can have a general planar system of forces and you can have an equivalent system asked. So you should have additionally this equation. So you will be able to find out your unknown forces or an equivalent system. So this is another important topic, understanding that you should know. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Yeah, if you do not have a doubt,
No, sir.
let me just to go and explain you moment of a force about the line and stop today's class, right? So for that, let me take this example problem. Let me take this example problem. Space force system. So when I have space force system, obviously that immediately comes in your mind. You have x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Rectangular right-hand coordinate system or Cartesian coordinate system. So you know these axes are represented by the unit vectors. So now this given problem, I have 2 points in space. So I'm going to represent 2 points in space. This is point A and another one is point B. This point A coordinate is, see, I'm not exactly locating it. That's not our task. 0, minus 3, 1. Right? This is point A coordinate. So this is x unit. So x is 0 means this point is in YZ plane. That's the meaning. Right? Minus 3. So minus 3 means maybe if I extend this down, it is on this axis itself, like that you can assume. And then Z plus 1 means it is along Z axis. So this line is, if I extend it is somewhere here. So we don't need to worry about exactly locating it. Rather, I am writing this coordinate that's sufficient for you at the moment. So now, what is coordinate B? Coordinate B is 2, 0, minus 3. 2, 2, minus 3. So take this point. So if I connect these two, I get a line, right? This is a line now represented in this space. So to represent the line, I require 2 points at least in space. That's what you understand from this. And the 2 points are given by position vectors. So that's exactly what was that in a moment vectorial definition that you have seen. So one is this position vector, which is ROA vector. The another one is ROB vector. ROB vector. If I have only one point, through a point you can have infinite number of line and its orientation. I have 2 points and I can have only one line passes through 2 points, right? So that you know. So now why did I draw this line is because I want to represent a force in this line. So this is 100 Newton force acting from point A towards B. So this force FAB vector is of magnitude 100 Newton. One task is I have to represent this magnitude as a Cartesian vector first, and then I have to find moment of this force about y-axis. About y-axis. So what is the question here is determine the moment of the force 100 Newton shown in the diagram about y-axis. That's the question. So how do you solve this problem? So for that, let us now look at a plane containing these two position vectors and this force vector. So that is this plane, right? This is the plane. So this plane where you see it's forming a triangle. So two sides are position vector magnitudes. So one side is the force vector magnitude. So now, if I take moment of a force about a point that we have talked, right? So if I have to take now moment of this 100 Newton force about this point O, what does that means? I have my axis, which is perpendicular to this plane, passes through point O. So this is an axis which is at right angle to this plane. So if I take moment about this point O now using R cross F definition, what is that I would get is the moment directed in this line, position in this line. But what is the question asked? What is the moment about y-axis? So that's what I have to find out now. So this line drawn would give me the moment of this 100 Newton force about this, and then I should get the moment component along y-axis. That's a task. So now what is that I would do? I'm going to now represent first step this force as a Cartesian vector. So how do I represent as a Cartesian vector? How do I represent this as a Cartesian vector? If I have a force component along x-axis, I know that is 100I. Like in the previous case, on the plate problem, you were able to write straight away here, this is 100K, right? Why 100J? Why? Because it is parallel to y-axis. So this is 100J. I have put it here as 100J because it is parallel to y-axis. But now this force is in space. So I need to represent this as a Cartesian vector. So how do I represent? For that I require a unit vector of this line. UAB vector. This unit vector, how do I get? Another 5 minutes will stop this lecture. So unit vector AB will be position vector of B with respect to A, RAB, by modulus of RAB. You have done this in vector algebra. So what is this? It is ROB minus ROA by modulus of ROB minus ROA. So quickly you can do that. So B minus A is 2 minus 0, 2I. 2 minus minus 3 is plus 5J. Minus 3 minus 1 is minus 4k divided by under root of 2 square plus 5 square plus 4 square. So what is that I get? It is here 4 plus 25, 29 plus 16. 29 plus 16, it's 45. So it is 1 by root under 45 into 2i plus 5j minus 4k is what is my unit vector, FAB. So now what is my force vector? FAB vector, it is unit vector times the magnitude, FAB magnitude. So that's going to be 100 by root of 45 into 2i plus 5j minus 4k. So this is my force vector. So if I have my force vector, then I can easily find out what is my moment vector. Correct? So moment vector now about point O about FAB. First I'm going to find out about point O. But about point O means about what axis? The axis is perpendicular to this green plane containing position vector and force vector, about this axis. But what is asked in the question is about y axis. So let us find out first about this axis, about point O, and that is going to be any of the position vector I can take, ROA cross FAB. You can also attempt to do this with the ROB cross FAB. So it is going to be IJK. Position vector is 0, minus 3, 1. And force vector is this. I take this constant out of the determinant. And I have here 2, 5, minus 4. You would understand now why did I not multiply and write it here. So now it is simple to work out 45. And if I work out this determinant, I have 12i into 12 minus 5 minus j into 0 minus 2 plus k into 0 minus minus 6. So I have 100 by root 45 multiplied by 7i plus 2j plus 6k, right? 6k. So this is my moment of this force FAB about point O. But this is not asked only. So what is asked is about y-axis. So what is unit vector of y-axis? That's important. So that would be obtained by projecting this vector onto this. So what was asked is MOY for this force FAB. Right? So that would be UOY dot MOY FAB. That's all. So what is UOY? OY is y-axis, that is J dot. MOY is what is that you have found out? 100 by root 45 into this 7i plus 2j plus 6k. So now this is the dot product. So you get the magnitude. So if you have to get a vector form, this much times UOY vector you should write. So that's going to be this into j vector. So I would get now j dot j is 1, rest all 0. So it is 200 by root 45 j is what is MOY FAB. I had given this deliberately about y-axis because straight away the second one, about x-axis the first one, about z-axis asked this third answer. But you can also have not necessarily an axis which is any one of these three axes. Like you have AB, you can have another line CD. About that line it is asked, you should take here in place of this unit vector and that line unit vector. That's all, only the difference. So I hope that you followed this. And here we end the class, and I have taught you how do you find out moment of force about the line in space system. Any doubt? In three-dimensional force system, you would be able to find the moment of a force about a line. So this line AB and y-axis are skew. They are neither intersecting nor parallel. So you have to find out this moment first about a point in a line about an axis OY, and then project that moment vector onto the axis. So finding moment is the cross product and projecting is the dot product. So you require this combination. So if we combine those two, that is scalar box product, you could straight away find this magnitude as well for this, right? So with that note, I will stop today's class and you would be having only another 6-7 minutes for the next class. I don't want you to wait and you can disperse now. I will just take your attendance sheet downloading quickly. There are 36 students present in today's class. I would take the same attendance for Friday's class as well. Right? Yeah. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll stop lecturing. So I'll stop recording.